So we have Z from Porsche and Eat Storage, and Mac from Architect. Next we have the Mole from Eclipse, the Pauline from Wormhole, and the Ali from Flow. So we would like to have a big round of applause for them. Can we have a big round of applause? Awesome. Thanks everyone. So we will be going to start with the Angular first. So Mac, would you like to go first? Here's there. Hi folks, em yêu bài hát và vui vì tôi xin lỗi rất là vậy nó này xịt tiền đơn tôi người kia vui đi nhập
Okay. Hi folks, my name's Matt. I work as the Irish Veterinary Foundation. Operate to
đi nói thật sợ người nhập hấp với kỳ đi xe đôi gì có terrible
inside us was for us and also more into prayer habitude.
The Hold on.
Obia. I think this is. I hope Simon Murday will be the character boy at the leader. Real struggle will be Polygon in the folio. So this will be a quick intro of what the trip does. It is basically Solana Unity. I think all the feedback what Solana Unity means. I don't want to further. It's the less time.
I need scary. Here, the very of Kilian and Story here. It's a Lana Sonic.
Hi everyone, so my name is Pauline. I'm the role as the Wormhole Foundation. So Wormhole is a interoperability solution. So basically what we facilitate is any cross-chain messaging. So we have different type of solution for that. But yeah, we have a network to basically facilitate. That's
Hey everyone, my name is Ali Sirish, aka the Flow Bro, and the head of terrorist. I'm the head of DevRel at the Bow Foundation. Bow is an L1 blockchain that was created by the team behind CryptoKitties. It's focused on consumer applications built by app builders or app builders.
Hi, Freddy. It's Chito. I'm founder of this story and blockchain. So this story is in Civic. It's the basically water to adopt the little distribution that these two use storage using object storage to blockchain or application. We also do the blockchain as a indirect tool which is talking to both usable. So we to the fusion not only scale competition, also skill storage to for trouble other battlefields.
Awesome. Thanks for the warm introduction. Let's start with the first question, maybe so basically, Everett is evolving alongside that with new tools, resources, and strategies emerging to support the lovers. Can you first tell our audience what is DevRel and why is it important in Web3, especially in blockchain ecosystem? Anybody would like to go over, so really, right.
Okay, so global relations is these two words that the data for the developer play. It's about building relationships with developers and helping them succeed in what they're trying to target. So typically they try to build some right or service or use functions or capabilities you're injecting the company or the represent provides a lot. And so it's about how could them do that. One description I heard once, which is fantastic, which is how we incentivize people that does not have money, right? So it's not like throwing money. It takes a build up and then the waterfall solution. But it's about data, those connections, it's about educating them, it's about creating the community and really just allowing them to succeed in what they're trying to do. But the other bits that sort of differentiates it from maybe something like those sort of sales or watching related is there's a two-way flow there. So as a within developer relations, especially as a developer admin, I'm often the voice at the table within the project or within the company talking about. So it's my job to kind of hear what developers say, that if something is not working or need to implement this particular tool or service that they wanted to integrate or gear systems. So me taking that back to the authority to hele bevise the thing in the this maybe better show children's.
Okay.
So, oh, at max, like, this, I'm not really a repetition
again and again. And just quick to say, be that the role of a devil is to be afraid of the decks other than represent your truth. You are much more on the side of the external endeavors as compared to Tina Saditabarati because during spiteful people are actually using the shit other than they take a salesman for it. The break actually said what I thought and making a deal about it because during a job they go making cannot take that making it not use. We have really also that depress us on daily the weeks.
But that's it is. Thank you. Yeah, so to add to the definition, it's not obvious now, but I think one of the core value of the DevRel is to, like, you need to really understand put yourself in the position of the developer because they are your target audience. Okay, you are not you're not selling anything to 80 type of people. Like basically, you need to make sure that whatever destiny you're giving them is as good as if you were use it for yourself, right? Like you don't give a shitty documentation to your developer because you know that you have to understand that they are going to use it exactly like you if you were a developer. So you need to understand what they want. You need to make sure you have a good data goes through adding good documentation, having a good support, making sure that when they come with question and you can answer, they feel supported. I think there was a very good point in the previous panel when the question was like, why would you pick that ecosystem? And I think one of the answer was, it's human relationship at the end of the day. Like being a couple is difficult enough. So if you get there and then like, you cannot find answer, you do not feel supported, you feel that people do not understand what you're trying to build, and they have no answer for whatever problem you're having, then you're there role you should probably replay.
I don't know how good your guys' eyesight is, but there's something that's always on the top of my mind, literally and metaphorically, and that says what real problem needs to be solved. Building on what Colleen was saying, I think a kick-ass dev route is someone who's an empathetic leader. I think empathy is one of the most essential skills for you to excel in a role like this. And essentially everything like the others are saying, it's like empathy is what allows you to relate to the developers in your ecosystem. It's what allows you to advocate for the victory within your teams, what allows you to push to the next level and resolve any of the barriers that they face in building in your ecosystem. So it's very end user centric, with the end users being developers. If you think of a blockchain and a network or a protocol, a lot of the times the primary user base are developers who are building apps, so are users. So empathy is 100% key.
Yeah, so yeah, I totally agree that what developers should come developers to succeed, especially they has a business area in my viewpoint job is to try to out for example that it is especially for the state having education, educating the workers, coding.com so that everybody can come and collaborate together. And also difference of the guys, so really they help the health. That's a really important because like in the last period a lot of time to pay strategies. However, a lot of developers get not good how cheap not just big audiences. And so that's what they call the DevRel and Balisa's culture. Demonstrate how culture is going to promotion to target audiences and about to content, which learn how to interact on the learning and uses. And so with this, they're easy to help that to get sex try because they have to also shares track on the values that the brownie side. So in all take success take on the day.
So that's pretty much about this question. Like I think like the stickers answer it very great. And the next question we would like I think we know that a pretty relatively new tuition industry. Do I want one? We know that Japan is a relatively unique tuition industry compared to Web 2. With its focus on community building and decentralized technology, can you share your journey becoming a Cameron and what initially do you to this role in the US space?
So, my role in Denver started anime years. Denver really had geoscenes. So, in around about sort of the late 90s, going by the 2000s, I used to run a web development agency and work with an open source platform, Python-based web publishing app, Flow. And one of the things that you worked remotely at the time, and that's the way open source projects will operate, through mailing us sporadically. And we would have occasional meetups, and I would organize walkthrough sprints, yeah, particularly for hackathons to all these people. And also and developer conferences. And so that was kind of, I was doing that. The Denver didn't really have a title. That's effectively what I was doing. I was helping the communities, like build and organize, helping out mail lists up. Fast forward a number of years, I worked for a startup. I worked for IBM for a while, and then my professional career in Denver started as IBM when I started doing. Somebody came up to me and said, "Well, you'd be pretty good on the dev writing." So I started to do that. I was doing AI, machine learning, DevRel, very much in a sort of a Web 2 set. And the difference between, I think, a lot of that and what we're seeing now Web 3 is, it's a lot easier to track your users in that sense because the Web 2, because it was SaaS offerings, centralized SaaS offerings. So you needed an API call. Somebody had to come to you to get an API, you apply for API issue. So I had a very simple metric in what I did, and that was, how many people signed up to our service. Now, with Web3, if this seems a lot more decentralized, often we don't know who is even using the product. In some ways, you can get better metrics because you've got blockchain. Blockchain is a regular, still blockchain. You can look at blockchain or this, but in many ways, you may see that you got no idea exactly really what they're doing. Because that's probably one of the main differences. Yeah, so I was doing Web2 sets, DevRel, then moved to DevRel, working again for Ripple. ETOP culture yet so we leisures, of course, DEXs, and so to take on like decentralized blockchains. And worked for Ripple for a while, then I started protocol apps with Emerald Cowboy, and then most recently Hunters. So, moved through a couple of different sort of projects, and they all have slightly different barriers. More about that for you later, I wasn't going into now, but they are a little bit different. Every project has a different started. One of the probably the most significant breakdowns, I think came from Bianca Passett at Verdell sort of talk last year, where she said the difference between doing DevRel for protocols versus DevRel for chain. Right? They're very different. There's for a protocol app will typically chain in the handle and use who have a specific set of functionality that you use. Often with DevRel for chain, it's much more about building community around that. It's about more general audience, doing a whole bunch of different things. So a little bit more is about bringing people to your community and helping them do it there rather than sort of just getting it. Some is built by API for stars.
Well, I think his objective was the most experience I've run on this panel right now because I met like two devs working at like GCP and like AWS, and that guys the day-to-day of those definitely differs a lot from what we do here in Mexico. But well, for me, DevRel just picked. I've been a developer, the backend developer back in Directory as I used to run my own like agency. That started from really basically being a developer freelancing. It's not getting a lot of inflow of these, but not having enough bandwidth to update all the projects. So I basically had to teach my friends how to onboard onto the stack I was using, and then helping them helping them get up to speed to my projects so that they don't take over, and then I do like social work projects for the ages. So in the I was doing the same thing that people are doing. I was teaching them how to use a particular technology. Back in 2021, when I began my journey at that, it was the same. That I advertised that I have this innate passion for education, which is outside of it. And my aim goes is kind of help people learn that because I never had formal education. And so I guess I'm expressing my passion for bettering how people learn through like my job.
Okay, so I have a bit of a different journey, but mainly the reason that got first of all the tech career is a career change for me. So I did actually I was a teacher, so I said yes, and then I decided to change career and I learned to code. And then I became a software developer for a few years, and I got into the usual path of ending hackathon, farming up some benches, and then finding it a bit too bad to leave. So I ended up in this Web2, the front-end developer job in a very corporate setting, and then joined hackathon on the side, and it was too exciting for me to accept that my everyday job. So what I did is that basically I ended up in a dev role. During a hackathon, I went up to the booth, and it felt also a fairly natural transition. Like being a tutor for so many years, and I had to teach in many different levels and audience. So for me, like I didn't quit teaching because I didn't like teaching. I did quit because the conditions were not what I used to have, and I have too much respect for the job to do that job. So I decided to change career, but I think I always might helping in for education especially. We have a saying in French that says education is the only thing you give, but you still earn. So it's like a good way for me. It's like it's so free to give any sort of value to someone in the area. So I can see why I should into this. So that role became a bit of an audistress, but I didn't really know. I didn't really know it existed before I actually started to work in Web3. And so after the hackathon, I pitched my project, and I got the bounty, but also got a job. So I guess that was the successful pitch. And this I worked in the VMware before for Layer 2, and now it's infra that does kind of the JavaScript.
My journey to yours becoming a DevRel started with wanting to be a wizard. I know that sounds a bit weird, and I'm not talking about like Gandalf the Grey with a big gray like beard or someone that pulls a rabbit out of a hat. There was a famous quote by the author Arthur C. Clarke that any sufficiently advanced technology is insubstantial for magic. And it goes much further than that. One day I was reading about the etymology of word magic, and it comes from the Indo-European word mao, which means to be able. When I was first going to university, I remember thinking to myself, do I want to study philosophy? Do I want to study computer science? Do I want to study film? Like, that was kind of all over the place. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. And I came to the conclusion that technology was one of the only things that if you spent a weekend or a week of pure dedicated passion, creativity, effort, you could create something that can positively impact the lives of millions, billions of people. You can make magic in their lives by enabling them. You can't really do that at that scale with being an engineer or being a doctor. I remember being just awestruck by it. And so I ended up studying computer science, and I got sucked into the whole, you gotta work at Bang, study cracking the coding interview, do leak code and HackerRank for 10 hours every single day, because if you're not working at Bang, what are you doing? Well, one day I was sitting with one of my, someone relates here. One day I was sitting with one of my good friends, Sal, and he asked me, Ali, what do you want to do after you graduate? And I was in my third year, entry 4, and I told him I want to work at Google. And he was like, why do you want to work at Google? I thought it was the weirdest question in the world. And I'm like, what do you mean, why do I want to work at Google? Or they have baristas, you could order whatever you want. You could work on hashing projects 20% of the week. That's how Gmail came about. They have toilets that are from the future. They're needed, kind of talk to you. They're really pragmatically in as well, deeper than the future. And he looked at me with a very stern look and he said, Ollie, is your purpose in life to have a fancy boilet that costs you and do meaningful shit 20% of your time? There's nothing bad in that. I think it's a decent way to go. But yeah, I remember that hit me a lot, and I ended up going down the start at that. Similar to Oli, my guy was an educator. He did his PhD in education at University of Tijuana, and one day I called him, I wanted to start it. He was like, son, why do you want to do that? I said, I still think without a C like that. I was like, it's also the only thing on the floor. And I'm like, shit, you're right. But dad, people I'm not successful, I just come back, finish my degree, and if I ask after son, you're happy, you need to write down promise that I'd eventually finish my comp-sci degree and be able for his lesson. So ended up joining TechStars. It was a big accelerator program, working on the startup for several years, doing a little exit in around 2018. And then I started doing a lot for product work after that. Because when we do a startup, you're a jack of trades, right? You do everything. You do the programming in the beginning, you launch it, you're doing marketing, or do pitch A. 1 minute you're talking to a VC, the next minute you're pitching a bug on the front end, right? When it's very, very early stage. And then during COVID, I ended up going back to school and finishing that degree. And I got to a point where I wanted to do something at a grand scale. I knew about blockchain, I worked with the whole DeFi protocols. And at the time, Flow Foundation was still part of Outer Labs. They're officially separated since then. And I was living in Vancouver, Canada, still am, and I remember some of the teams coming to my university. And so I go to their website and we didn't have any job postings. We had a general application. So I put that in and the next day I get an email. We want to do an interview with you. First interview, I'm talking to the person and I told them like, whoa. I come from a startup background. I don't care about job titles. I care about getting shit done. Whatever needs to happen, I'm confident I could get that done. And we end up pulling back his course. I talked to the CTO. I just start shitting on the fraudulence in blockchain and how every other verified contract of Etherscan is just a pork inside, and how we need to solve real problems. And the next day I get an email saying we want you to come in. Then I get on a call with HR and managing director, and I asked the managing director, what are you hiring me for? You're telling me to come in next Monday, and I have no idea what you guys are even hiring me for. He said, I thought you didn't care about what the job you did. And I told him, well, I don't. And he was like, well, we're hiring you. And I said, outbound product manager. I said, I've never heard about that before. And one thing led to another, and I started doing more and more product mixed with Darrell. What out here? We'll see. What's our work?
So before I start my resume for me, in 2018, I was a engineer at Facebook, Google. Thanks for doing. So at the time, actually, I have not too much idea what the DevRel is because agriculture had just sample optimize some or less of passing optimize some performance. Once it's verified, just optimize will apply it to servers and which applies to billions of users. So everything is automatic, although when you talk to customer and users. But when I started my first project in 2018, that was where one got inspired by this roadmap about using shorting. We believe with our short-tier engineers or from Facebook developers. And then when we qualify very fancy technologies, we open source the SQL and run the networks. And then we found no one contribute except us. No one uses traffics except us. It's most happy, but it's complete difference versus what I else basically do. And that is tons of bugs or tons of issues with something's wrong or something's good, or people you have more traffic or this thing. So I think about why, and the reason is that in a BugsCP it's just quite difficult, but especially in Vector Infra, there are a lot of layers into the base chat. So that actually do not need to in terms of talk about some of our end users about these the other layers,
but in bus suite, we says our engines were directly. And we have to understand how they use our system, how they look. And that's why they realize the audience will us. But the sixth round say, hey, this is a triple hand idea, good DevRel. So I start to say, hey, at best, DevRel is the Ethereum foundation, is the code base. So it's about Boyle. Is it equal or collateral? I join Yankee course. I know a lot of Yankees are still important for BMAS. Should I actually learn one university that's how they use phones, how they interact with computers, so that I can learn how I should jump on them and then when I come to Berber, how I can apply always. And one story is that I used to work with Vitali on his life and gear to build up Triangular Bridge, past the Finality Bridge, China, it is for us. So we publish an idea, say, hey, I have a good idea, but know what? I don't have time to implement it. So if you like this, tell me, and then I'm practicing a small group, and you can explore all these ideas. At this first time, I closely work with Vitalik, because before, a lot of people say, hey, it's all this just Vitalik, right? It's kind of like the most famous person, and he has a lot of ideas. But when there's a close project that close for the project, Vitalik found, oh, he's just like a really clever person, like friend, that if I have any questions, with any ideas, you publish in the channel, he just responds in minutes, as long as he was your student. And then, it will also collect all the feedbacks to polish his spec. Every time there's a spec, but to polish spec and answer all these questions and push everything forward. And lastly, when we finalize the deliverables, he sent his program to all the recipients. So this procedure tell me, oh, how does he do that sheet? They should be closely walking all of the hundreds. Quick answer the questions. I make sure all the communication is clear and predefined all the spec. And I've been also applying FairQ, like ES0 FairQ is really clear spec that is already there on, and they have open video every week to talk about what the current lab they're doing, what other capabilities. They will encourage the developers be able to learn and follow them easily, and so that once they are able to read enough inches or background to learn enough background, they also can easily push to their own indices. So I mean, this is something that this is really something that especially the failures or I would say the success of the project.
So after learning about what DevRel does, I am sure that many of collaborators is now interested in knowing that from your experience, which approaches have been most effective is connecting with developers, and are there any common methods that may be impactful for the community, and also what would be the challenges you face during your jump?
Okay, so in terms of approaches, I'm probably saying the biggest thing that underbids all of this, I think it's already been hinted at, pretty much every one of us in the first question here is honesty, right? It's honesty about the product, about what works. Now, one way we'll try to describe, maybe slightly uncharitably to other sectors of DevRel is honest marketing. Right, well, marketing but honest. I'm not to suggest the marketing is dishonest, but all of us here have probably had a situation where we have to demo a product, right? We have to be in a workshop for our stage, so whatever it is we're doing has to work, right? Seriously, not just pretend to work, but actually, because somebody in the audience is going to be following along, but they didn't want to afterwards, and they're going to say, well, 1 minute, I'm telling this on when I get set now. Right? So we come up, right? At least not prosper per school bit. So there's a modesty there, and we have to be able to say, well, you know what? Well, this particular bit's not done yet, but this particular bit does not work so much. Or when somebody comes to me and says, hey, look, I want to use your product for this, we have to be able to say, well, you know what, it's not suited for that. Like, you got to use these projects or that project, or use this other technology instead, because that might be better suited. So one of the things we want to be aware of is, a lot of the times, what else is happening within the industry, what other products are out there, or might be suited. Not only what our product is good at, but what it's also bad, what you wouldn't use this with it, right? That's, a very interesting question. Going outside, what would you not use for buying or service? Probably there is. Because, yes, I think probably, in terms of challenges, one, everything moving so fast. Again, trying to keep track of those products on and what we're doing. You'll find a new project literally every single day. You do a dev part every single minute. There'll be another new project that you just start. So kind of keeping up with all of that is probably one of the hardest things. And then from that, you'll work out, okay, what is the overall strategy? So for me personally, I work for the Arbitrum Foundation. The Arbitrum Foundation is funded by the Arbitrum DAO. The Arbitrum DAO is a decentralized collective of entities, individuals and projects and companies that all have their own priorities. So what aspect should I be focusing on for DevRel? Should I be focusing on a particular chain of traffic region, a particular version of the sector, a particular technology? When there's a big decentralized, customer base up there, all doing totally different things. So that's one of the big challenges I have personally, is I work out the way we focus our efforts on, for the next W.
So one thing I would like to kind of add is, in the hard parts of the DevRel role is, it's constantly like, shit does not work a lot. And I'll take a recent example. I recorded a guide or a demo like 3 days back, and today morning the engineering team pushed an update that totally made me throw the video, which was like 48 minutes from into the garbage. And then I had to change it also. I had to re-record the video and push it back up to the AQ files. And that PR is still pending. And I'm scared until it gets approved, they'll push another change. So I would say like it's the same case with a lot of the dependencies that I guess like which have like 400 downloads on API. But like those are still very scrappy teams that are doing scrappy work which update very, very, very fast. So we have a term called dependency hell, which exists to release it. And another thing which I am saying is a pretty hard part of the DevRel job is there are only very few good developers out there. Like I would definitely say someone who's going to get a job out there as a developer right now. There is no lack of jobs. There is lack of skill. There's lack of very quality developers. And the people that are good developers, they know their value. If there are 1,000 layer 2s, you're targeting the same set of some sub 5,000 good developers. So I get honest marketing. It is very hard to be an honest marketer of your product and still gain developer advocates. So someone who does not bot on Twitter, someone who does not lie in their product, someone who does not sell a product which is still a Notion doc as a fully fledged out product, it is super hard to basically do your job with. I'm not saying it's modules, but it's a book.
I think we all said on the whole honesty part. Like it feels that it's still like when you code, it doesn't work. The code is not lies, right? Like if it's right, it's right. It doesn't must. So it's still the same here. But I think we have some really good DevRel, and I think we all know who I'm talking about. Like there's a few very prominent figure around the DevRel, and I think, for instance, Nader is really exactly the incarnation of that. Like he goes around, he talks to every single builders, he follows up with everyone, he's accessible, he's easy to go to, and he does that really because he wants to help the developer to achieve. And I think that's really the core job here. So I would say that if you have that in mind, it's a definitely good thing. Another thing is that you need to like the technical, right? It's nice that you can explain things, but at the end of the day, it is a technical part of the job is very important. It's like if you're not able to support the developer technically, then it's okay, but then it should be someone else in IT that should do that job, because otherwise you end up in a sort of a limbo where you promise things that you cannot create support on the end. So that is also everything. I think the challenge as a developer, to be honest, is sometimes I feel that it's an activity that, especially in Web3, it's so specific to our environments that we don't have. It's not like when you're a product lead or you're a BD or you're a marketing guy. You have somehow you can have metrics, you can have, like, we know the job, right? Like the job exists in Web 2 and might be a bit different, but DevRel is not really the same thing even in Web 2. And in Web 2, there's not that many of it. So I feel that it's almost a job that is so specific to crypto, and the way we have shaped it is even more specific. What I mean is that we all laugh of DevRel, we all know that we are doing a million things at the same time. Like, you need to be technical, you need to be able to speak, you need to be able to support your BD team when it's in the call that it becomes too technical for them to handle. You need to be able to do the recording of the video of the bloody tutorial, you need to go down in the documentation, you need to fix your documentation. And at the end of the day, I feel like I have to drive the tuk-tuk myself as well. Like it's really, you have to be so multitask, and it's challenging because sometimes you really need to get into the code and to be in this sort of like mental flow of helping a developer in the code, and you constantly get interrupted by a million other tasks that you need to attend. I think the DevRel are always a bit, split thing into, I show up to conferences, I am at the booth, but then I'm helping someone debug online, and it's someone showing up, and that is really the core job of the DevRel. And sometimes, like Max said, it's very important to have a strategy, because you're not going to win it all. Like, you just split yourself very thin if you think you can kill like every single of those points. So it's a challenging job. Also, is the best job in the world. Like, I'm just saying, on my opinion. But I have had many jobs, and this one for me is by far the best. But it is challenging. It is, you really have to draw the line sometimes where you can achieve the best at how you should do it, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to just shout out the first thing that comes to your mind. What is a dev? Don't be shy.
Art.
Art? Wait.
I see.
Okay. What is a dev? Anyone else? Builder? Okay. What is a dev? Developer? Not quite literal, I like that. What is a dev? A friend. What I'm trying to get at here is, like, we generalize when we use the term developer, but what a good DevRel person needs to do is really segment, like, what are the different types of developers we're serving. And in our industry, it's funny, like, he's absolutely right. Like, there are a small set of great developers who are very senior, but then on Pump.fun, you have thousands of people calling themselves devs and thousands of people saying, please dev, go rug, and then all they're doing is uploading a JPEG and pushing a button, right? Are they really devs? One thing that I think that really pushed forward our DevRel was segmenting out, the different types of developer. You have the absolute newbie who's like just learning about Web3. They have never launched a smart contract in their life. You have others that, maybe they're in university, they want to fill up their resume, they're interested in eventually getting a job and earning money, or perhaps they're a bounty or rent farmer, like they have a lot of economic incentive to do one task after another, and they like that lifestyle. You have hackathon hackers, you have pre-startup teams, people that could be entrepreneurial, but if they have the right push or environment, you have people that are very naturally entrepreneurial. Right. So really understanding like the different types of developers and where they're at and being able to create the education resources for them, the financial resources. I'm a startup founder and you could connect me to a massive investor ecosystem. You can help me on my pitch. You can give me the grants, startup funding to help me get off the ground. You can be kind of smart, but that's massive for me, right? There's a lot of different types of developers out there. One of the things that I also think worked really well was trying to create powerful feedback loops where we get information from developers on how they're experiencing like our developer documentation or the SDKs that we're creating to make it easier to build faster or just integrate with the overall ecosystem. How hard do you think it is to get a developer on your core team or in general to make a tweet? Building in public is theoretically amazing. It's a great way for people to know what you're working on and also get feedback. But in reality, a lot of developers don't really like putting themselves out there and tweeting. So one thing that we found worked really well was creating these public working groups that happen very regularly, like once every week or once every 2 weeks for every single part of the foundation. One working group for education, one working group for community, one working group for dev tooling, for governance, for DeFi, and inviting everyone in the entire community to come hear, what we're working on and propose solutions, share their insights, share their ideas. We found that having those segmented, focused, regular times to be literally one of the most amazing ways to get these out. And then, like Paulie was saying earlier, like everything we're doing is for people. I do think there's a very powerful effect that happens when you're talking to people live. And for me, I got in a lot more insights from doing things like over-sponsoring eFlowable Hackathon this weekend and just sitting with the hackers, seeing them go through the developer documentation, going through processes and saying, what's wrong with the faucet? Oh, I have to click this button over here. Oh, I thought it was broken, right? Getting those insights live is invaluable. So to summarize it all together, really understanding who it is that we're trying to help, empathetically helping them every step of the way, and creating ways for them to engage one-on-one with us or ecosystems or systems so that they know how they can access us and then share what they're working on, as well as hear what we're working on.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the most effective way to do the better job is to identify the developers who are really interested in your work. A couple of different developers like interested in your work. Some developer is just purely like technology advancements. For example, including this in a project in different languages, some Rust with much higher efficiency, and then they were proud of their building the most fast algorithm in the EDM or something that they can achieve. Also, a couple of other developers, they found when they're doing some applications, they found some missing pieces in the infrastructure. And they realized, oh, they're doing something that is solving their problem, and they are willing to see how they come together and solve this problem. And sometimes, if we can build good relationship, it will help to cut into, for example, polish comments, submit testings, all these things. They're just really happy. But how can I find those engineers, developers in ecosystems? It's really, really difficult part or crucial part. My experience is to find, as you said, like some public groups that with some kind of existing good engineers. For example, within IT, within research following, magicians, and find people what they're talking about and follow the conversation. And sometimes when people come for this sub conversation and come back and they will solve, so hey, this is something they're working on and how to solve this problem and what's on gas. Rather than come to the ecosystem and say, hey, they're building very cool things like people just scared or something like that. So I mean this is very efficient, but it takes time. It has to closely follow all these conversations to see what they're thinking about, what they're building, and see how we are able to serve them. And then once people say, hey, this is really interesting, but how I could keep them constantly to stay to be on, and so we will offer some polite incentive.
it's not just using the aesthetic to kind of like how to put it, like strong incentive to the cinematic. Just have to say, hey, I would like to be war and we would like to build up this kind of long-term relationship. But on the other side, our like less kind of impactful method is like if we offer a really strong incentivization and then say, hey, we are offering this money and then do this blah 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 jobs. Sometimes it's less effective because this will create a lot of I would say noise that people just looking for hunting is party and that sometimes they just move away. So yeah, that's a big step. For example, we have working with a team from the group community, and then we come together. We all this interesting program like Ethereum Global Network that is a Ethereum distributed storage network. Also project up there. They're missing a client because no client, and then that may be useful to be integrated. And then so say, hey, do you like to contribute to this? And then they said they would like to contribute. Hey, yeah, okay, this is really good for Ethereum. I would like to sell a small grant. And then they work on this and quickly recognized by Ethereum foundation. And yeah, by now, became a district team has said, hey, look, would like to have an official brand to do your work into the Ethereum. So this is something really amazing. But we just start with nothing, no incentive, just pure interest.
I would like to kind of add to the points made by Yinku here. And I used to work in Polygon, as I said, and we had a product called Polygon Maiden. It is one of the most technically challenging products that Polygon has ever come up with like client-side proving. So we're like, the audience of this product is so small, and it is like, I guess, like 14 researchers in like Serbia. How do we get people to interact with and like engage with this like research-led product and not a consumer-led product? We made, like as you said, how hard is it is for an engineer to tweet. We made the entire Maiden team be on Discord on a public channel which was read-only to do their team 6 on a weekly basis on public like audio channels which were like listen-only. And like their entire types were public. Like if they were going to play Gould on a Saturday evening, they had to discuss it there. So that made people actually invest into all of these researchers' lives, and they were like zoo animals. But that actually got a ton of like people could relate with them because in the end they realized that those super smart PhD folks were actually like elite people, and there is a lot more difference. Just that they know a lot more maths.